Hi again, and welcome into the 2022 Heart of America Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Media Day. I am your host, Nick Vassos, the voice of the Kansas City Comets of the Major Arena Soccer League, as well as television anchor for Fox 4 News in Kansas City. We are delighted to be joined by Evangel head coach Bruce Dayton and his student athlete McKinley Yoder, senior McKinley Yoder. Welcome into both of you. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it is good to see you guys. And Coach, I'll first start with you. Last year didn't go like the way that you guys wanted it to go, but early on in the preseason, are you seeing signs that your team may be reflective of a more successful season that you had recently in 2019?
I believe so. I think one of the things we were challenged, defensively we were sound. We didn't really give up many more goals. It was pretty much like it had been in the trends. On the defensive side, we just didn't put the ball in the back of the net last year. And so obviously on the recruiting side, that was the big focus. I feel like we've done that in recruiting, and I'm seeing that already folding out in the sessions that we've had in these first 3 days of preseason. So I'm really excited. I think that, we get us right back in step to where we were. For sure.
Yeah. Coach Dayton, is this your 6th or 7th year at Evangel?
I started the program in 2015, so it technically would be the 8th season, the 7th year of the existence of the program. Yes, sir.
Okay. This time of year, you must be excited to get things going, your coaching staff, student athletes, everything. It's pretty exciting time, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. It's, we look forward to the fact when everybody comes back. And we're able to get started. And really to see it started and see it going. And then as each day unfolds, the excitement level just continues to grow for sure.
Coach, let's talk about your student athlete to your right, McKinley Yoder. She's a senior. Tell us about why she is so important to your team.
Well, first off, I think McKinley's an incredibly smart player who's very talented, technically, tactically, understands the game at very high levels. And it just really exemplifies what it means to be a leader. And she's been in that. We don't have your normal captain structure. We have a captain's council, which is a few more than your typical number, but it's folks who have shown leadership capabilities within the program. And Kinley's been a part of that for the last couple of years. And just really does personify what you're looking for in a student athlete. She's great in the classroom. She's an incredible leader. She's great on the field as a leader, and understands the game at really big levels, and definitely will factors in huge for us because she's really she's the coach on the field for sure. And you're absolutely looking for that as a coach.
That is really cool. I haven't heard of that before. And McKinley, what has it been like as a student athlete to be a part of that captain's council? And I assume there's some accountability that goes along with the responsibility of being a part of the captain's council.
Yeah, honestly, it's the greatest joy of being on this team. It's my favorite thing. And it's such a blessing that I've been given this opportunity to lead in this way by coach and just by the girls in general being so receptive. So yeah, and there's definitely more added responsibility. So planning team bonding nights and just making sure we're all on the same page with everything. But yeah, it's an absolute joy to do.
So what's your major, McKinley?
I'm an accounting major and I'm minoring in nonprofit business.
Mm-hmm. So when your post-soccer career comes up, what are your plans?
Yeah, so this is kind of a more recent thing, but I'm actually planning on moving out to San Diego for an accounting job out there. So yeah.
That is really exciting. Let's talk a little bit about where you came from. You're from Zionsville, Indiana. What was it like growing up in Zionsville, and how did you find your way to Evangel?
Yeah, Zionsville is a cute little town. I don't know. I love it there. It's very quaint, and I had really good soccer friends and just friends in school. The way that I found Evangel honestly was very random. I knew that I wanted to be a part of a smaller Christian school that I wanted to play soccer at. And so I was just doing a bunch of Google searches and pretty much each state around Indiana. And I eventually got to Missouri and Evangel popped up. And so I just went on Evangel's website. I signed up for a camp, came to the camp, and then got recruited. So
Absolutely.
it was very like random, but everything worked out the way it's supposed to. So
That is awesome. Well, I mean, you're here, you're a senior, and you're going to graduate with an accounting degree, and I mean, you're on your way. So that is awesome. We know McKinley's coming back this year, Coach. Tell us about some of the other players that you have back this year.
We've got a number of players that I think now that they've progressed now into from sophomore into junior. So we seem to now are a little bit older as a program, even though, because you go through those cycles, especially when you're starting from scratch, because you eventually hit that one cycle where you become really young again, and then you start to level out. And so a lot of our sophomore class are players that have played up top, I think have the experience now to really help drive what we needed to do from a goal scoring standpoint. Our goalkeeper, our center backs, we have two backs that are actually three of our four backs are seniors or a super senior, because we have one who's a grad student that's finishing out her 5th year of eligibility. So our back line, which is great, our back line is stable and is experienced. Our midfield is strong. Kinley leading our midfield. The rest of our midfield are going to be really juniors and a couple that just have the same level of understanding of the game with her. So that's really exciting, is that our midfield is now at a point where I feel like that tactically they understand what they all need to be doing together. I think when we up top, while we do have a couple of experienced players, we have several brand new players, because that really was our recruiting focus. I mean, we needed to score goals. And so I think a number of a transfer that I think is going to factor big in, several freshmen that have already showed the ability to put a ball in the back of the net in session so far. And so, so there is a mixture, but on the attacking side, I think we probably are a little newer than not on the attacking side. On the defensive side, when you really look at your backs and our goalkeeper, a little bit higher levels of experience and age there in terms of, but I think that's the right way, because we're already sound and solid there, and now we really needed to focus on stretching the attacking end of the game even more.
So your schedule, of course, sets up with non-conference to begin, and those non-conference games can be used in a lot of different ways. But I'm wondering, you just really have beautifully spelled out your team in terms of where your players with experience are. I'm curious, what will you use the non-con games for in order to prepare your team for the tough conference schedule?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we and maybe it's that sometimes I may not be the smartest person in the world, because, we start out the year against the number 11th ranked team in the nation in John Brown. But you know what, the one thing I like about that, it's going to, what we see going into it and how we play it right from the get-go, we're going to be challenged. And obviously John Brown is factored in nationally very strongly the last several years. And that will allow us to see where what we need to fix going into the heart. And that's day one, that's game one. We have a couple of other games that'll probably test us, but won't test us at that same level. So we'll be able to then take what we see from that first game and be able to really refine who needs to be in the right spaces. So we have got all the right, and this is just the business background of mine coming back too, is that, we got all the right people on the bus, I think, and now we'll just use those non-conference games to get them all in the right seats.
Oh, I like that. It's a great analogy. McKinley, you're a senior, so you know what it's like to play in the heart. I'm wondering, what do you think it's going to take here to climb the ladder and to finish better than you did last year?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging conference, but I think if you want it more, you're definitely, there's still like skill level is pretty even across the board. It's like who wants it more. And so
Mhm.
this is what we've seen in this preseason. The intensity is up, the competitiveness is up. So I think that'll definitely help us as we compete against the other teams.
All right, guys. We've got Kinley. We've got you on the record here, in terms of what it's like playing in the heart. I've got one question for Coach that we've been asking all of the head coaches in the league here. Myself and my broadcast partner Eric Bergerud, who's helped out with these interviews here. But we're gonna ask this. And Coach, we just want the first thing that comes to your mind. It could be a sentence, it could be a word, it could be a phrase, whatever. So here is the question. When you hear Heart of America Athletic Conference, what comes to mind?
Well, for us, and I'll tell you, this is because I think it's what has helped us develop the footprint that we needed to develop nationally. I love the fact that this conference is so incredibly competitive, that there's no off days within the conference. From top to bottom, we're good. And that has helped us in establishing a program that was brand new, 7 years ago, to where it started to get some recognition nationally, and now is allowing us to build upon that. So what we have to be on at all times. It's got to be 100%. There's no B game that you can play. There's no off day going into the conference. So I think for me, it's the footprint. It's really helped us establish the footprint we needed to be able to be a nationally caliber team. And we're almost there. And I feel comfortable that this could be the year that we kind of make that one more big bold leap. See how it
It's gonna
goes.
be, yeah, it's gonna be a tremendous fun season, and we wish you all of the best. That is Evangel head coach Bruce Dayton, along with senior McKinley Yoder of Evangel University. Thank you both for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation and wish you both the best of luck here in 2022.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
We'll see you.